Coming up on week 1 of the HuskyZone, all of North Marion's teams got their seasons underway with competitions this week, and many of them began with wins. We'll get you everything you need to know from girls soccer's overwhelming performance, the boys soccer good start to this season, volleyball's valiant effort with a powerhouse, and football's beginning of a new era, along with the individual results of our cross-country runners. All of this and more is coming up on week 1 of the Fall Sports HuskyZone. Hi, I'm Cole Costello, and welcome back to another NM Athletics production. This week, all of our sports began competition and surprised many people with results. Tillamook was the recurring opponent for all 5 teams, and you could say the Huskies won the sport-wide battle. First off, we're going to look at the results for cross country, and with that, we'll bring on Shane Whitehead.
Thanks, Cole. Cross country had a busy first week, competing in 3 different meets: the Wilsonville Night Meet, Darrell Deedon Cascade Invitational, and the Ultimate 5K Invitational. The team opened up their 2012 slate on the sunset of August in the Wilsonville Night Meet, competing with 43 other schools, including a majority of 5A and 6A schools. Out of all of those competitors, Christian Parr was the bright spot for the Huskies, coming in at 10:01 in the 3K race, etching out a 16th place spot among all the juniors. Hannah Surkamp led the ladies' side of things with a time of 13:25. Moving on to Thursday's run at Cascade, the Huskies put forth only 2 varsity runners in Ben Westwood and Hannah Surkamp. A surplus of junior varsity runners on the boys' side had great times, showing the potential of the runners to come in the season for years to come. On Saturday, the team closed out the busy stretch with a trip to Tillamook, a place where you should be very familiar with by the end of this week's update. Christian Parr led the boys varsity with a time of 20 minutes and 36 seconds, while Hannah Surkamp posted a time of 28 minutes and 9 seconds to lead the girls. That's it for our cross-country results. Now I'll send it back to Cole for volleyball.
Thanks, Shane. The girls started their season on Thursday, and their opener was a matchup with the high-powered Tillamook Cheesemakers. The Cheesemakers lineup features 3 girls over 5'10", where the Huskies have a much smaller lineup. Tillamook came into North Marion and walked away with a 3-0 victory, with set victories of 25-9, 25-12, and 25-10. This tough loss is not as bad as it seems, as Tillamook is very capable of winning the very strong Kawapa Conference. Then on Saturday, the volleyball team headed down to Turner for the Cascade Tournament. Unfortunately, the team lost every game they played in, but strong performances were seen by Kylie Gonzalez and Brianna Brashears. Now I'm going to hand it off to Logan Beiser with boys soccer.
Thanks, Cole. The boys started off the season with a trip to the coast to face the Tillamook Cheesemakers under the lights. The shorthanded Huskies team had to have almost half of the typical varsity players swing and play JV as well. The Huskies persevered past the short numbers and defeated the Cheesemakers 3-1, led by Edgar Salgado with 2 goals and Ivan Salcido with 1. The Huskies will have to endure 3 games next week, which you will hear more about in more upcoming events. Now I'm going to slide it back to Cole for girls soccer.
Thanks, Logan. The girls soccer team got the season going with a ridiculously overwhelming victory over the Cheesemakers, 11-0. The first 3 minutes resulted in 2 quick Husky scores, coming from Jasmine Flores and Hannah Schweigert. Later goals came from Marissa Jones, Hannah Waite, Kylie Flores, Paulina Turan, and Alyssa Chaw. Jasmine finished with 3 goals. 10 of the 11 goals came in the first 36 minutes of the 90-minute contest, before the Huskies decided to just play keep away. The dominant win led North Marion to be ranked as 8th in the state. And now we're bringing on Josh Hauser to talk about the football team.
Thanks, Cole. In a back-and-forth defensive battle from Tillamook on Friday night, North Marion forced 5 turnovers and limited Tillamook to just 77 offensive yards, as the Huskies used 2 second-half touchdowns to open up their season with a 13-0 victory. The season got off to a shocking start for North Marion, as Trevor Kaufman's pooch kick landed in the hands of his own men, with Lucas Randall recovering the kick. Other than that, exciting plays eluded the game throughout the first half, with neither side being able to get things going, as the first 7 drives of the contest resulted in no first downs. The biggest bullet the Huskies had to dodge was on a 4th and 16 play, where the Cheesemakers' leading receiver, Jacob Fowler, had the touchdown in his hands but couldn't hang on as the ball popped out as he fell to the ground. North Marion then took their turn at a chain-moving drive, and in the process discovered their passing game. However, the second quarter's time expired before North Marion could punch it in. With their first possession of the second half, North Marion finally hit pay dirt as a 10-play, 62-yard drive was capped off by a touchdown toss of 12 yards from senior quarterback Wyatt Moore to sophomore wing Emery Patterson. The Huskies opened up the fourth quarter with their second score, coming on a 4th and goal play where Cody Walker busted into the end zone from a yard out. Wyatt Moore finished the game with 125 passing yards on 9 of 18 passing, including 1 touchdown. Matt McLaren led all rushers with 66 yards, but Emery Patterson and Cody Walker didn't miss a step as they rushed for 44 and 36 yards respectively. Kyle Williamson led the team with 3 receptions and 65 yards. Despite the somewhat close 13-0 score, the Huskies were dominant in every statistical category imaginable. As you can see on your screen, the Huskies led in first downs, rushing yards, passing yards, total yards, and the time of possession battle. North Marion also turned the ball over just twice to Tillamook's 5. The Cheesemaker turnovers were credit to shut down Husky defense. Tyler Salcido made a great heads-up play to pick off a pass which hit off of several players before reaching his hands. Tyler was also key in the second turnover, which came as a result of his sack and allowed Cody Walker to pick up a loose ball. Tillamook was plagued with turnovers in the fourth quarter, to the tune of a fumble which was recovered by Nat Burrell, a fumble which was forced by Salcido once again and recovered by Randall, and a heels to the goal line interception by Kyle Williamson, which he returned for roughly 50 yards. That's it for this week's football victory. Now here's Cole with our Play of the Week.
Thanks, Josh. This week's Play of the Week comes courtesy of the football team in their momentous win over Tillamook. In a scoreless affair through the entire first half, the Huskies put the first points on the board on a touchdown play from Wyatt Moore to Emery Patterson. The Huskies took the first drive of the third quarter down the field and capped it off with a 12-yard touchdown. North Marion had their backs to the wall on a 4th and 6 play and needed a score before the completed pass, resulting in the score.
It's about 4th and 6. Here's the play. Wyatt Moore throws for the wide open Emery Patterson. Touchdown, Huskies! Emery Patterson, the sophomore, wide open in the left corner of the end zone. The Huskies get on the board first. It is North Marion 6, Tillamook nothing.
And now we're going to move on to the trivia question. If you remember last week, we asked you when the first NM Athletics update was published last year. The answer was August 30th, 2011. Congratulations to Zach Packham from Aurora, Oregon for answering last week's trivia question correctly. And now this week's question. This week we're asking you, the girls soccer team scored 11 goals this past week in a single game. When is the last time that a soccer team from North Marion scored at least 8 goals? Text in to 503-583-8NMA. Standard text messaging rates will apply. And now here's Josh with our high-flying performer.
Let's go!
Thanks, Cole. This week's HuskyZone high-flying performer is Jasmine Flores of the girls soccer team. Jasmine is no stranger to this accolade, as her outstanding performance in multiple sports last year resulted in the High Flying Performer Award. This weekend, her team's game versus Tillamook, Jasmine scored goals in the 1st, 8th, and 18th minutes to lead her team to an 11-0 win over the Cheesemakers. We look for more of the same from Jasmine all year. Now here's Wyatt with more upcoming events.
Thank you, Josh. Now it's time for more upcoming events. On Tuesday, the volleyball team heads to Astoria to take on the Lady Fish. The boys soccer team hosts the Banks Braves. And as the boys stay, the girls travel to Banks to play the Braves. On Wednesday, again the volleyball team travels as they go to Yamhill Carlton to take on the Tigers. And then on Thursday, the girls volleyball team plays their 3rd match against the Seaside Seagulls. Also on Thursday, the boys soccer team hosts the Westside Christian Eagles as the girls travel. The home opener for the football team is on Friday against the Tigers of Yamhill Carlton. And then on Saturday, the girls volleyball team hosts a tournament out North Marion in Gym 1. And now it's time for Cole Costello to wrap things up. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Wyatt. As many of our viewers may have noticed, most of us here at NM Athletics are seniors in high school, and we won't be here forever. If you are an underclassman and interested in keeping this going when we're gone, fill out the application that you can find a link to on our page. If you have any questions about this, be sure to come to one of the NM Athletics team members. That's it for another fantastic week of the Husky Zone. We'll see you all next week. I'm Cole Costello. See you next time.
Let's go.